Hello and welcome back to Apostate Coalition. I am Ryan, your host, and we are a news, education, information, and entertainment channel. And tonight on the Worldly Perspective, we're getting wet with the baptismal water, baby. Repent. Dr. Time Waster, will you help us and teach us how to repent?
I can only offer you more sinning. But yes,
Okay.
repent, all of you, please. Welcome,
I'll take
everybody.
this
Repent to Dr. Time Waster. Tell her your sins.
Please,
She'll enjoy it.
Please tell me. I want to know. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Alpha Sub. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Ryan, and thank you. As you may notice, we are missing somebody, and that is because the power in Texas sucks. The power grid in Texas sucks. And we should all just, on a national level, ask the government to maybe fund the power grid in Texas, is all I'm saying. But Tyler Rickshaw is not able to join us unless his power comes back on.
Tyler's pooping in the dark.
He's pooping in the dark, y'all. It's devastating.
Bad. Yes.
Think about him. Please send
is not good. This is not
donations.
A good sign.
Your prayers. Send your prayers, everyone. It's
wipes and prayers.
Devastating.
Bidet and prayers.
But anyway, welcome everybody. We decided that we were going to talk randomly, again, about baptism, and that is our topic for this week. So I think this is a topic that many ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in particular, since everyone technically in this room right now is an ex-Jehovah's Witness, I think we can all relate to this particular topic. I believe one of us is not baptized. Is that correct? One of us has escaped.
I
still free.
I still own my own soul. I've not given it away to any deities.
Please elaborate.
Somehow I've managed to get through my life doing that. Do what?
We were all giving our souls. We were marrying God. I'm not totally sure on the blood contract or the soul bond, or like what's the magical bond that baptism has exactly, but we've done it, me and Ryan, but you've not. Alpha Sub, tell us more. How did you escape?
Yeah, how did you?
I think I just happened to. I'm 9 years younger than my oldest sibling, 7 years younger than my next oldest. And it was a lot of breaking away or drifting away from the strict Jehovah's Witness path before I got to the age to consider getting baptized, because I was so much younger and they came before me. So I think that probably helped me skate through. That I had older siblings to pave the way and get baptized and then get disfellowshipped for something stupid.
Oof.
And see all the problems that occurred. And then I just avoided it myself after watching what they went through.
That's a good point.
How do you feel that might have benefited you all these years? Do you still feel like that's a good choice?
Yes, because Jehovah's Witnesses don't avoid me. They'll still talk to me, and they don't tell my mom that she's not allowed to talk to me.
He's here, but he's not. Tyler.
Yeah. He's
here, but he's very disappointed.
He's here, but his camera sucks with this internet. No.
We never escape him.
Everybody pray for the Texas power grid. We know it is one step away from being gone.
Right.
Yeah. They can't hack it in the winter. Oof.
I don't understand why we don't just have one power grid across the entire contiguous U.S., but, I'm not even a
power grid
expert. Infrastructure is crap. Is that the question? Why our infrastructure sucks?
I mean, we don't put money into our infrastructure very much.
It's
We
the
all
next
complain
guy's
about
problem.
it.
No.
But we want it, and we need the, roads to be there and the trains to run.
Right.
And
We only spend money on defense and nothing
no.
else. Defense. In quotations.
Okay? Tyler says, "Don't you speak ill of Texas?" And all I can think of is the SpongeBob SquarePants episode where he starts teasing Sandy the squirrel from being from Texas.
Oh, yes.
What's a great? Can we buy shoes? Can we say shoes from Texas are dumb?
Hey, what am I? An idiot. No, I'm Texas.
No, I'm Texas.
What's the difference?
Yes, you will die there.
Mwah.
And I will
love that you got
resurrect
that
you.
Resurrect there.
Oh boy. Well, I feel like what you're describing about being baptized, or I should say not being baptized as a Jehovah's Witness, is really speaking volumes for me. Because that's sorry, that was my water pun. Because I did do it, and I did it at, I would say, a fairly young age. I was 13, I believe. Like when you're the summer between 8th grade and 9th grade, where I knew that everybody had problems when they got to high school. And so I was like, oh, I better protect myself, getting baptized before high school.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I realized
of armor.
did it for my dad because my dad really wanted it. Because I just told myself that I should do it. And then once I did it and I went into high school, I remember my first day of high school, and I remember thinking, I'm going to die. I baptized myself, and I walked through the school of high school, and I went, I'm going to die.
Oh my gosh.
That's so devastating. I was like, I baptized myself.
Thoughts?
And
Why'd you think that?
Die. Because just walking into high school, and I was like, there's so much stuff. There's so many things happening. There's so many ways my life could go. There's so many opportunities. I went to a high school that had a lot of opportunities for people. And I suddenly saw pathways I never knew existed in my 9th grade of high school. And I went, shit. I might die in Armageddon now because this is amazing. And I baptized myself. If only I hadn't done that. And that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Didn't have done it. Regrets
for sure. Ryan, you got baptized. When did you get baptized?
I got baptized at 15 years old. So I was in 9th grade. I think I was in 9th grade.
I think you'd be in 10th or 11th, I would imagine.
15. No, I mean, I said 13 between 8th and 9th. It was between 8th and 9th, but I might have been 14. My bad. So I think 15 is a reasonable age to be 9th grade, at least in the United States. I don't know about other places.
Yeah. Yep. I remember it clearly. Trust me. I remember. I remember. I lived it. Yeah, the dress I wore, like I remember the dress I wore because I got to buy a special dress for the occasion, so that was great. Friends came in from Philadelphia to be there for it, so it was like a big ordeal.
I vaguely remember my sister getting baptized, but it was not made a big deal. It really.
No?
Not your family, you mean?
No, she was the only one that ever saw get baptized. Because my mom was baptized before I remembered anything. I think maybe before I was born, maybe.
I have a question for you, and we might have said this a long time ago, but I'm like 4th generation Jehovah's Witness. So my parents became Jehovah's Witnesses. So it has been a very long-standing tradition in my family.
Right.
Alpha Sub, what would you say is your history in the Jehovah's Witness clan, as it were?
Right. My mom, had somebody knock on her door that was Jehovah's Witness, as they typically do. Just like a couple of years before I was born, just like 2 years maybe.
Fuck.
And
Dude.
yeah, I know.
Second
I
gen. So
know.
you're
So
second
close.
gen.
So no birthdays for me, man. My siblings got a few. They got a couple. Yep.
Bad timing.
So anyways, yeah, so she converted just before they had me. And she got baptized, and so I grew up as the child of a newly converted Jehovah's Witness, getting read my book of Bible stories, and just everything Jehovah's Witnesses say is true.
Same.
And yeah.
That's basically me too. Me too. I mean, my grandparents were witness to at the door, so they came in, and then like my mom was kind of there for it, so it was a little bit enveloped in her life. So she had familiarity with it, but she wasn't baptized. And then my parents got together, had me. Eventually, they both got baptized. And this was like, look at how much their lives had changed because of Jehovah. They got baptized. Right. And now it was like, well, their lives have changed so much. Good for little Ryan. Life is going to be grand for life is perfect now for little Ryan because it was so hectic before. Now everything is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like many religions, this isn't always the case, but I think a lot of religions just have people that think this way in it, regardless. Is if things aren't perfect, it's a sign that your faith is weak, that you're sinning, or not, just in general, not a very good. In this case, it would be Jehovah's Witness, but Christian or any other religion. I definitely have seen people, even locally in my own life, but especially elsewhere, that think, oh, they had someone die, they probably hadn't, in their family, they probably hadn't been praying enough.
Yes.
It's probably punishment.
Yes. Which also goes back to, like, where does disease come from? Because obviously God doesn't cause harm or pain or suffering or disease. So therefore, if you have disease, you must have disobeyed God. I'm going to bring this up later. If I haven't brought it up before, I have a disabled sister who was born with multiple birth defects. And I remember growing up hearing things such as my mom took drugs that made my sister become deformed. My mom must have done something wrong. My mom must have disobeyed or upset Jehovah in some kind of way to make my sister turn out this way. It turns out it is genetic. And no, my mom didn't take medication that makes, I'm sorry, my mom was in the 80s and took some antidepressants that was a terrible, horrible thing to do at the time, but those drugs are still available today and are considered safe and effective for taking during pregnancy. So
Antidepressant.
I'm not going to say for her own particular privacy, but needless to say, it wasn't likely drug induced, and it was very much more likely genetically induced, which one would then lean more towards God is more in control of genetics. But anyways, that's totally beside the point. But bringing it back to disease states, that's definitely something that people will do, is they will attribute disease states to be something that should be attributed to the parents that gave birth to the child that was born that way, my mom or my parents or whatever should have did something wrong, or you've done something wrong to have this disease state and be in this way. And I think that's pretty fucked up personally, but something to think about. I don't know. Just putting it out there. Sorry, continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I just noticed while you were talking, sometimes you look a little bit more like an Avatar character than others. But
An
it's pretty blue
Avatar
most of the time.
character? Is that what you said?
Yep. That is it.
Like the cartoon
The
Avatar,
movie,
or
the movie, yeah, like the blue skin.
oh, the movie. I'm sorry, it's because I have a blue light on and it's particularly bright. So, I'll take it though. That sounds like a compliment. I'll take it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, plenty of people have loved the blue skin women. I'm down for it.
Blue monkey. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject from what you were talking about. I just wanted to make that point about disease states being attributed to like something you've personally done wrong.
Right. I think that's just a common thing that people think. No matter what religion they're in, they just tie it to their religion. That whatever it is, they just think, well, you must not have enough faith. I mean, as far as in Christianity goes.
I mean, like illness.
I don't know about Eastern religions or anything like that. But what did you say?
You mean illness in general?
Or bad luck. Not necessarily your own illness. It could be, oh, your family member died, or you lost your job. And some people within Christian-based religions, will just have that thought, well, they must not have had enough faith, so they're being punished. That's why their fucking family member died, or so on. I don't think it's unique to any. I do feel like that's unique to the Christian, Muslim, Judaism. I don't think that's something that I have seen in any Eastern religions, but I'm not around a bunch of Buddhists or Hindus, so I can't say for sure.
I want to make a comment to Dan's comment. He said his mom's family was the J-Dub side, and she converted from my Catholic dad, and we hardly saw his side. My grandmother was Catholic on my dad's side, and she also in the 1930s, whatever, 40s, 1940, whatever. Let's see, 45 maybe. It was like right after World War II, and my grandma was Catholic, raised from a very Catholic household in Missouri, in like St. Louis area, and met my grandpa, who was born into being Jehovah's Witness. His parents converted to being Jehovah's Witness in like the Nowheresville of South Dakota. He went to World War II, which was against the religion, but he did it anyway. And then somehow he converted my grandmother to be his religion, which is by no means like a patriarchal, like, you must be this, whatever I am kind of thing. And my grandmother went with it, and she ended up like giving up Catholicism and totally devoting herself to being a Jehovah's Witness, but she still clung on to a lot of Catholicism. So like when I grew up, my grandma wouldn't celebrate birthdays or Christmas, but we would always get a letter in the mail from my grandma that just happened to arrive on our birthdays, and it would happen to say things about how much she loved us. And you know, my grandma somehow managed to keep the things that she grew up with as being Catholic, and she was also baptized Catholic, which I want to talk about later. What as Catholicism and their baptism is very fascinating to me. But anyway, I just think it's interesting you mentioned that about your Catholic side of your family, because my grandma kind of like, I remember we would make fun of my grandma because she clearly would kind of input these old holidays into it, but she was the matriarch of our family. Like when she died, none of us really talked to each other. Like I have so much family on that side. And when she died, she was the glue that held us all together with these little things that she did all the time. She cared about them, and it was a tradition. And Jehovah's Witnesses have no tradition that's worth doing. Like, what tradition is worth doing as a Jehovah's Witness? Zero.
Goose egg.
Zero.
So did your grandma accept all the Jehovah's Witness doctrine?
I mean, she bought into it. She was the most Jehovah's Witness between my grandpa, who made her convert, who I remember being more atheist than anything. She was deeply into it, but she would just merge the things she really liked about Catholicism, and she would just kind of like sneak it in there, and we all benefited. So nobody really called her out on it unless they were feeling very ultra righteous.
I like hearing. I want to hear what a Catholic convert to Jehovah's Witness has to say about the Trinity doctrine. Is the main question I would have for that person.
I mean, she adopted the Jehovah's Witness doctrine. She, she would say it, but I don't know. I don't really know what my grandma believed. I didn't really get to have these conversations with her, but anyway, I just saw Dan's comment. I wanted to comment also on a family that had incorporated the Catholic somewhat traditions into it. It was just interesting to me. Also, I don't know, does anyone else remember growing up Jehovah's Witness and like totally constantly bashing Catholics?
Oh God, yeah.
Everybody
it was so easy. It was like too easy to say that Catholics were like, oh, clearly they are not practicing what the Bible says. Like,
right.
It was like school rivalry.
Kind of.
That's how it felt to me. It felt like
rival
one football team against the other football team. Just like, oh, they're terrible when you're literally doing the same.
Yes.
Like, please.
You were gonna say something, and now it's gone.
Yep, I lost my thought. Happens.
Howdy, y'all.
Short-term memory loss.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Ron Pimo, we're a family of Catholic bashers. That is, I feel like I don't know any other religion better than I know how to like pick apart the Catholic religion and how they were clearly not the right one. And I feel like that was just like easy pickings. And I remember that. And I remember thinking, what a ridiculous way to believe. And now I feel silly for thinking that even. So, I don't know.
I do definitely recall a lot of mocking of some religion or another. And it was usually Catholics.
Or Mormons.
I didn't hear a lot of Mormon mocking. I heard Catholic and then any other like non-Christian religion. So Muslim, Hindu, whatever.
We came here to talk about baptism. And Ron Pino is here in the chat, and I may or may not have a picture of him here somewhere. Anyway, if you guys go to the YouTube thumbnail, which by the way, you should all hit the like button and follow and really partake in this apostate coalition channel, because lately I have been perusing around and I've seen a lot of gems and a lot of interesting things, and Miss Ryan Cultastic is constantly amongst us all, and she does a lot of amazing things that you guys should all follow her for. But anyways, there's a lot of where was I going with this? A lot of good things. Help me, everyone.
I know I was going to ask a second ago now where y'all were baptized, because I remember not necessarily like the city or anything, but like, were you baptized you weren't baptized in your kingdom hall, were you?
No.
My sister, when she got baptized, I remember it was at the auditorium at my local high school for the district convention.
Yeah. It was usually conventions. I think it was usually the conventions that people got baptized at. Nobody ever really got baptized in the kingdom halls specifically. Right. I don't think that really was a thing, at least not in our generation.
We had multiple kinds of conventions, though. We had
right. There was the district and circuit and
right. And those
Butt
two.
fuck
Was there a third one?
convention. Yeah, they were in there somewhere.
So yeah, if you get baptized at the small one, is that what happened with y'all too? Small
Um,
convention.
I made sure, particularly, to get baptized at the smaller convention because the pool was a one person at a time thing and it was small and there wasn't a lot of people versus the bigger conventions that was like they were just marched you all out and you had to stand in a line and you're like in your outfit that you chose to wear in public to get wet in and then a big pool. And no, I didn't want the spectacle. And then so I specifically picked the smaller one. And then I remembered realizing, no, now everybody's watching just me. Whereas if I had gone to the big one, other people might also see other people, and nobody ever stuck around for those. Everybody left. So, like, nobody actually watched the baptisms at the big conventions. It was only the little conventions people saw the
right,
onesie
you'll actually
twosies,
watch.
and I was like, no, I picked the wrong one.
Yeah, nobody cares with the big one, and whoever does care, they're taking a picture of you, especially back then, on a camera with film from like half a mile away on the other side of the giant building.
I remember me and my friends would do we'd take like our binoculars at the conventions. And then did you guys do the same thing and you would try to wave like we're in this section, da, 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 and then you'd all I see you, I see you.
Looking through
Yeah.
binoculars was definitely a pastime of
Uh-huh.
You'd also
conventions.
just be like creeping out, looking at people with your
Just look at
binoculars.
people eating, like stuff in their face during the freaking
I think that,
There
and
and watch people.
Oh, your dad dunked you.
I like checking out people's
No.
fans if they had a fan, like a handheld fan instead of pieces of paper, because in Memphis, Tennessee, in July is hot, and there was no air conditioning in this giant coliseum. So lots of people had cool looking fans in this place that they would fan themselves off with.
So since we're talking about this, I did decide I knew I had photos of myself when I had gotten baptized, and granted I'm like 14, 15. I found them. But when I was looking for them, I also found my dad's baptism photos, which who knows how I got those. My dad has since deceased in 2008, but I got like a whole bunch of pictures. And so apparently I have my father's photos, and I don't know if it was like 78. But I have those photos with me if you guys want to see them. Because who doesn't love a good, like, I'm going to be vulnerable here, but like, who doesn't love a good photo of, like people? So, like, if you guys want to see it.
I think
Oh
seeing
yeah, if you got photos.
young Dr. Time Waster is going to be interesting.
So I don't know where this was exactly. I'm going to say it's like either Washington State or South Dakota because that's like the only likely place that my dad would have done it. But the guy getting baptized in the red shirt is my dad. Hi, Dad. And then there's him in his very modest short shorts.
Yeah.
The jean cutoffs, if y'all are looking at them.
Good looking
Something to
man.
see there. Anyway, and so here's me.
Oh yeah.
The dunk.
Pure and innocent.
Getting all
Just as
wet.
innocent as the day you were when you were born.
Can I just say thank them for letting me hold my own nose as I go down, because I went and like Googled baptism photos, and there's a lot of photos of people. The priest is plugging their nose as they go down.
Yeah, like no, don't
so
touch
bad.
me. Don't touch my face.
It looks so bad. So anyway, that's me going down. That's me going in with my very modest T-shirt over my bathing suit.
Oh yeah, all black, no see-through, see-through.
And there's my juicy, wet booty going out. And don't look at me. I saw you baptize me. Don't look at me. And this is my sister looking at the pool. This is my disabled sister. And she's looking at the pool I got baptized in. And that's Ron Pimo. Hi. And that's my dad. All right, so you saw my dad's baptism, you saw my baptism, and that's me on my baptism. This is me being extremely vulnerable on the internet.
The
I
first
got
thing came to
baptism.
my mind was
What's
when I
that?
seen this picture just. You know what the first thing came to my mind was on seeing this picture just now? You were in
What?
band, weren't you?
Can you tell what instrument I played?
Clarinet.
Yes, I totally played the clarinet, but not good.
Oh
Bad.
my goodness.
As soon as I
Yeah.
saw this picture, I'm like, wow, that looks like a clarinet player in my band.
That's a bad clarinet.
What
No.
about this photo makes her look like a clarinet player?
That
what
is
was
a-
the
Dude,
call?
I can't tell you. I just know I
learned.
was in band, and I can tell you what instruments somebody played whenever they tell me they were in band. Trumpet players are
Wow.
tall and skinny. Clarinet players look like that. If you
Look
can't
like-
tell what they played, they either played drums or saxophone.
Oh my God. Wow.
I say I
Who
was a
knew that
bad
you
clarinet
had that
player.
kind of talent and intuition?
It's just what happens. I mean, I'm not always right, but it's way more than chance.
You're pretty accurate.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I said I was a bad clarinet player, but I need to preface that I had just learned to play the clarinet in this picture. Like 8th grade, like that was when I learned to play the clarinet.
Right.
You have the
Good.
clarinet haircut and the
Being
smile
baptized.
too.
Yeah. And then I went to like a high school that was like known for its band and jazz band. And so they were so high level. And I was like way down here. And I was super intimidated. So at every concert we went to, I just faked it. And I didn't play. But anyway, anyway, I just wanted to be super vulnerable. And then there's me wet. One more time, just so you
Love
guys can
seeing
see
it.
Anyway, I wanted to show that because one, it was just funny that I found all those photos, but two, like I did it. I realized I got baptized for my dad. I did it for my dad. That picture of him, the fact that I found those photos, the fact that I found those photos of me and him at my baptism, like I did it. I realized looking at those photos, I did it for my dad.
Oh.
Okay, so now what I'm thinking is, isn't baptism really just a social, like,
It's a
I guess people,
ceremonial thing.
yeah, I mean, I'm
Symbolism.
thinking people really just do it for each other, but I mean, I guess some people do totally just have it in their heads that they're doing it for Jesus only.
It's a
But I
box.
don't think that's the
you tick.
case most of the time.
It's a box you tick, but I think it is more important socially because it's
Right.
that outward display of these are my people now.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just say this. I, again, was a 4th generational Jehovah's Witness. My dad had been, many people in his family have been Jehovah's Witness. My mom's side of the family, Jehovah's Witness. So it was incredibly important to me. There was no other option laid before me than to be a Jehovah's Witness. And so getting baptized as one was important, was pushed, and my parents got divorced when I was 5, which was a super taboo thing to do. My mom had a disabled child who then had a lot of demonic, things pushed over there. And so it just became really important to make my dad happy. And I realized I did it. I did it to make my family happy. Like,
Mhm.
I convinced myself it was something I should do, but then now we circle back to that comment I made earlier at the beginning of this, where I was in 8th grade, summer happened, I got fucking baptized as a Jehovah's Witness, which is like the equivalent of more than the equivalent of getting married to a man. You are promising your soul to Jehovah. And then I got to high school and I was like, fuck, you guys, fuck, I shouldn't have done this.
Yeah, like
This was a bad
gravity.
idea. I'm gonna die now. I was convinced I was just gonna like burn in hell. So there was no hell, but you know what I mean? Like, it was a big deal. So,
Yeah.
You were just convinced that you were doing bad.
What? I was gonna die. The epitome of whatever was gonna end up being the worst. Like, it was overwhelming, is really what it was. But I was just a normal kid. I was such a good kid in high school, you guys. Like, I graduated with early credits. I didn't even know it. I was like, I just worked really hard. And what do you mean I've already graduated and senior year isn't even over yet?
That's awesome.
I was afraid to fail. Is really what it was. But anyway, I digress. Arch, hello, thank you for coming in. Wait, what? He soaked what? What? Oh,
I've been soaked
oh,
this week. I've been shower shopping.
sorry. I had that Mormon soaking thing in my head.
Oh,
I was like,
who wants to
Oh.
soak?
Completely different.
I'll soak.
Different connotation.
Fall asleep while doing it.
Wait, what are we talking about again?
Falling asleep while soaking. Oh, did you
Okay, we're talking about what I thought we were talking about.
Speaking of Mormonism and soaking and all that stuff, did y'all see what they named what the Mormons at what is their college called? Brigham Young University. What they named their hockey team? I think it's hockey.
Bring
The
'em old.
Predators. The Provo Predators.
Now, if that isn't some kind of ironic, what? The Predators?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just saw Arch's comment. I just saw Arch's comment about soaking.
Falling asleep while soaking sounds about right. Right.
I'm so glad you're here.
You're living a good life if you're doing that.
They wouldn't let you be an unbaptized publisher because they knew that this mother effer was up to no good. Yeah, it's just not a word that I would use as a descriptive for a human.
Do they have unbaptized publishers? Wait, what would you not use as a descriptor for humans?
Predators.
Predator.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Provo
Aliens,
Pusher.
maybe.
Provo Pusher is a thing that it's a Mormon sex thing. A Provo Pusher is someone that while two Mormons are soaking, a Provo Pusher is underneath a mattress pushing the mattress.
Oh,
So
what?
this is a real thing.
Raise the roof.
Because if the mattress is moving, they're not sinning because they're not doing the movement.
Obviously. Yes.
God
Just like
made
on the
our
Sabbath, if the elevator automatically goes to every floor, then it's not your fault if it eventually gets to the floor you want it to because you didn't push the button. It's kind of the same idea.
You mean like Jewish Sabbath
Yes,
elevators?
yes.
Yeah.
Where you didn't actually do the thing, but we've programmed it to eventually actually happen. But we didn't do the action.
I saw an even better one that was.
They find a workaround. There's a workaround for the law.
There were some people that made a business out of Jewish loopholes for Sabbath for not working, and they made a phone. And it was, but you can't push buttons on a phone. So what we did was we made a phone where every button is constantly being pushed. And when you push a button, you're actually unpushing the button.
So you're undoing an action.
Oh my God.
Clever.
I'm like, this is the goofiest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Yeah, it's so goofy, right? Because you know exactly what they're doing. They're just finding a way to circumvent their rule. So why make the rule if you're going to find a loophole?
Right.
The poop hole loophole?
Yeah, right.
The
poop hole loophole. It's a thing. It's a thing.
It's a thing. Which you can't do if you're baptized, right? So, okay, so what is baptism? Baptism is the symbolism of committing your life to God or saying that you're going to live your life a certain way, or what? Is it the magical seal that says that you're bound by the laws of God, and if you don't do this thing, then you're not bound by the laws of God?
I guess it's you're repenting, you're making yourself new in the spirit, right? Like it's a transformation, like it's meant to symbolize like
you're supposed to be washing away all your old sins.
Yeah, like it's a whole
like a frat
production. It's a whole
production. The idea is you're supposed to wash away your old sins and not sin anymore after that, or you always repent for every single sin that you do after that. Is what some religions.
What if you don't know you're committing a sin? Right. Is there a blanket thing you can do for that too?
Yeah, it depends on what religion you're in. Now we can go back to dissing Catholics. Catholics typically say 13 Hail Marys and something else.
Well, they're into like individually fixing the sins, but like there's got to be
Right.
religions where you're like, where's the blanket once over? Like there's those religions. Is what I'm saying. Like
There,
where you
a
just
lot
like
of
you can,
like
as long as you say you believe,
What's
God
a
will
Dutch
forgive you
rudder?
of your sins.
What
Ooh,
is,
Dutch
what is
rudder.
Dutch
That
rudder?
dirty AF,
Yeah.
man.
That
What?
reminds me of that motorboating son of a bitch, right? You
Little
I'm
milk
motorboating son of a
butter,
bitch.
you
Yeah.
know?
gonna search
Milk
Dutch
butter.
rudder on the hub.
Yeah, milk
See
butter.
what comes up.
Dutch
Milk
rudder
butters.
in Urban Dictionary. Thank you, Urban Dictionary.
And now I gotta go look up Dutch rudder. Tyler, if I get banned from the internet because you said that,
Tyler, if we get demonetized because of you, you owe us exactly 13 cents.
although we didn't get kicked off from last week's show when Baff and Mel from the Burning Eden podcast came
Right.
on, I don't know.
True.
You can get away with quite a bit on YouTube after the first minute or two. You
Yeah,
just can't say anything too bad in the first couple minutes.
Yep.
Oh.
Anything interesting?
Yeah, what is it?
Can't
say.
Are we gonna get demonetized?
No, I just think it's funny that he said it. Just remember that Tyler Rickshaw mentioned Dutch rudder. Tyler Rickshaw should be associated with the Dutch rudder.
All right, I'm excited to hear what this is.
Anyway.
Oh my no, Lord. Oh my God.
This is why you shouldn't be in the comments only. This is why Texas should have a better
Somebody
power
else
grid. I'm just
Is
saying.
rowing the boat for you
Like,
without
we read what
actually
this
having
is?
to touch.
I think
those.
this is something. Should we read this? I don't know. Can we read it?
Yeah, you read it. Go ahead, read it.
When two men grab their own penises with one hand while grabbing the other man's forearm, moving it in an up and down motion to act as the form of masturbation, is a Dutch rudder.
They're moving the other person's arm?
Yes, the forearm.
Gotcha. So
Man grabs his junk, friend grabs the forearm.
I
is
would
my
like
hand on my own
you-
junk or his?
yours. You
Okay.
touch
A
yourself.
man grabs his own junk, and then
But
your
an
friend grabs
arm
his
is
forearm.
different. You know,
Gotcha.
there's nothing sexual about grabbing somebody else's arm.
No.
It's just nothing.
Uh.
Zero. Zero.
I see. So it's not gay, bro.
It's the soaking version of circle jerk.
I
Not gay at all.
wish I knew.
I'm glad somebody taught me about this, so now I can tell all my friends that we can do this together and not have to worry about what our sexuality is.
Is it a Dutch rudder circle jerk?
It's a Mormon Dutch rudder.
It's a Mormon Dutch rudder circle jerk. Say that fast.
With
5
soaking
times.
involved later.
Oh, we should have had soaking to that anyway.
Mormon Dutch rudder circle jerk. Okay, I got it.
Jehovah's Witnesses don't have any cool sex loopholes. Being Mormon sounds kinky.
I mean, just
Jehovah's
now.
Witnesses?
Huh?
What did you say?
I said
Being Mormon.
Jehovah's
sounds-
Witness doesn't really have any sex loopholes. Mormon
They
sounds kinky.
do. You have to get caught doing it, or you need that like as long as they don't catch you in the act.
Mhm. If you're a Jehovah's Witness and you get disfellowship for doing something, either one, they really are out to get you, and this is total bullshit, and
Or
you're a
you
woman.
admitted it.
Or two, you totally went to them and said, "Oh my God, I did this barely anything wrong thing," and they just fellowshipped you for it. Or three, you're dumb. Loco motive.
Are we still putting in dark, Tyler?
Poor
Tyler coming out with the dick jokes. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. See, that is kind of a loophole, but not everybody knows that. And probably the large amount of Jehovah's Witnesses wouldn't lie like that. Well, you'd think, I'd assume.
Sorry.
The loophole is that you just don't tell on yourself.
Right.
And I just had the realization that I got baptized because my dad wanted me to, and I only got disfellowshipped because my dad made me go talk to the elders for something that was nobody's business.
Same.
And when I went to talk to the elders, I was like, yeah, it's not really your business. I'm just here because of my dad. And they were like, well, you don't sound really repentant. And I was like, no, I'm not really.
I'm not.
Fellowship. But I just realized I got baptized in this fellowship because of my fucking dad. Anyway, I love my dad, but he's dead. So I can say what I want.
But that is such a stab in the back from a parent to be the one to turn you in. That completely changes your life course and puts you through that mental torment.
Do you want to feel even more bad for me?
I do.
Okay. After I got disfellowshipped, like 6 months to a year after that, he got diagnosed with cancer, and then he died 2 years later. And he didn't talk to me because of his fellowship, because he didn't get reinstated. And he did try and get me. The only time he talked to me was to try and get me to get reinstated.
That is devastating and heartbreaking. It is disheartening. I am very sad that you went through that. God,
now, but I didn't laugh at it for a really long time.
Religion steals family from people.
It really does. I was so devastated for a very long time, and I was trying to go to school. I was trying to do a lot of things for myself.
That's not dead.
My real dad, Tyler. My real dad.
You're not my real dad.
You might be fucking my mom, but you're not my real dad. But yeah, I mean, it sucks. It totally sucks. It sucks the fact that I got disfellowship because my dad told me that I needed to go talk to these people, and I wanted to respect him. I felt like I needed to honor him somehow, so I did it. And then I was like, as I was talking to these elders, I was like, I don't even know you guys. I just moved here. Who the fuck are you to tell me how to live my life? And it just clicked into my brain in that moment as I sat in that room, and I was like, nah, I don't really feel like I'm gonna repent here. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And they're like, well, we have no choice. And I was like, well, it sounds like you gotta do what you gotta do. And I don't know, like, I didn't know my dad was gonna get cancer and then I wasn't gonna get to talk to him again. Right. I might have done differently if I had known that, but I'm kind of glad it worked the way it did, because had I waited, I might not be here today doing the things that I did. And I really liked the course of my life. So it was hard. It sucked. Yeah. And the Jehovah's Witness organization incredibly sets you up to have a lot of heartbreak if you break away. And there's no way around that. So getting baptized in the Jehovah's Witness religion, okay, once so there's this like kernel of maybe it might keep you alive at Armageddon, maybe this tiny little bit, but then this giant percentages, or you'll just have a really shitty life and your entire family will be ostracized from you. And that's the choice you get. Sorry, I didn't mean to depress everybody, but that's
no, but this is a reality that we have to face when it comes to getting baptized. That there are consequences, but the consequences aren't truly exposed to you all like that as a kid. At least for me, they weren't. It was never really even a thought that I would ever be somebody who would get disfellowshipped or be considered an apostate, because it's not really spoken about. You kind of put it in that box and
those are bad people. You're not a bad person. You're not a bad person, so that's not you. That's not your narrative. And that's actually the evil part about it. So in Jehovah's Witness organization, if you get baptized, that's the only way you'll ever get disfellowshipped. And getting disfellowshipped means you will be completely kicked out and ostracized from the religion. Mm-hmm. And that is devastating. But also they will announce publicly that you've been disfellowshipped so that everyone in the congregation knows they can't talk to you. But they won't say like why, which, of course, that's your private personal business, and I can respect that. But what it really does is it's a taboo to ask, but like gossiping. But so what it does is people will expect the worst. People are literally like, when you hear so and so got disfellowshipped in the Kingdom Hall, you're thinking the worst possible things they could have done.
Right.
Like,
So the
they've done the most terrible thing I can think of that you could do. I'm like, I know a lot of people in my own family, my mom included, who got disfellowshipped because she divorced my dad.
And that's it.
That's
There's
it. That's all she did. She
nothing
got
wrong with that.
divorced.
But
They had a
from the
terrible
outside,
relationship. Wasn't healthy.
from the outside, that could look as if, oh, well, maybe she cheated, or you know, who knows what she could have done to her husband.
She had a disabled daughter. Like, oh my God. Right around the time I broke up. Oh my
She
God.
must not have had enough faith.
You know, my dad also got like a paternity test on my younger sister, saying that my mom was claiming that this disabled child was his when it wasn't, and it was his. But he put the whole family through that whole ordeal where he got like testing, DNA testing, went to the court, all that stuff. And he was like, I don't know how much of it was a ploy of just like not getting out of child support, or this whole, oh, where'd he go? But the religion just demonizing people for even getting a divorce. And so it's just so much easier to put the blame on somebody.
We love you, Dan. See,
Aw.
and yep, both parents died shunning me, and siblings still do, and it's been over 40 years.
Alpha Sub got raptured. You got raptured for a second, but you're back.
I saw
It's disgusting how this
I
religion
would hope
tears
I don't
people
get
apart.
Tyler says it wasn't the divorce. Tyler, do you have some things to add about my mom?
Come on, Tyler. Speak up.
Speak up. What you got to say about my mom? Yep.
Yeah, it's usually they think about sex. They assume it's like something sexual, because it's usually one of the big reasons people get disfellowshipped.
I mean, again, it's all just, to me, it's just all social games. I don't really feel like it has anything to do with your morality or anything. It's just, what do the people that you're in this group with find socially acceptable?
Yeah.
Titties. Probably.
In our group, what I find socially acceptable is titties. I don't have any. I guess I'm going to have to... This is a communist society, and y'all's titties are our titties now.
No. Everybody's titties.
Just redistribution of the titties.
The
I don't
redistribution
think so. Not if I have to carry the weight of them titties. I don't think
right.
So.
You carry all the weight.
No, thank you.
Tyler is insinuating some things about my mom, but that's fine. That's fine.
Well, he is your dad, so.
He's not my real dad.
Caught in the Kingdom Hall.
He's not my real dad.
A titty in every pot.
Now we're talking.
A titty in every pot.
Now we're talking.
There is enough titties in the world for everybody to have one. All right.
I mean, technically, statistically, there's enough titties in the world for everyone to have two. It depends.
No, we're like anti-baptism. Well, not anti-baptism, but
wait, how does everybody get two titties?
Because everybody has two nipples. They're just not big titties.
Not everybody has two nipples.
You have titties. You have two of them. Everyone is born with two of them. It's statistically very likely.
I'm slowly starting to grow some titties.
You should be proud of them. You should be proud.
I definitely grab them sometimes.
I mean, we all should.
Right.
Who doesn't?
See, Tyler, what happens when you don't show up? This is where the conversation goes.
This is what happens every week. This is just how our brains are, whether he's here or not.
Tyler's 13 titties or 13 nipples?
Proof or it didn't happen.
Pics or it didn't happen.
An odd number of titties is... I like that idea. 1, 3, 5, 7.
So what age did everybody in the audience get baptized if you got baptized? I want to know when
Age
everyone
in
got
baptism is also on this topic because
I'll
we
be
talk
honest,
about
guys.
Jehovah's Witnesses baptizing kids early, but there's other religions that do it even earlier.
I was gonna say, I feel like I'm just now at 31 years old
You
Mhm.
weren't
to the
baptized
age
for that.
that I think
He
I should
was.
be making my
Oh, he
own
was?
decisions.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. But it didn't
it's
mean
the
anything to
alpha
me.
sub who was never baptized. Tyler was baptized.
So
Yeah.
I think that
Too
anybody
young.
getting baptized underneath the age of
7.
18 for sure is crazy to me.
It's crazy because of why? Age 7? Jesus Christ. I don't know
Young.
when Ron Pimo was in here when he got baptized, but he's probably gone. Why would you say that age is important and that older age is better in terms of baptism, Alpha Sub? What could
Be-
your point possibly be?
Oh, my point could be that you don't understand the social implications of what you're doing when
Consent?
you are
Right.
that young, and you don't understand all of the consequences, and you don't understand that your beliefs might change. You might go to another church. I think Tyler
16.
has been baptized multiple times.
10.
Mm, I don't think he
I
has.
wish he was here to tell us.
He's
But
probably been baptized once. One and done. He's done.
no, I think he's twice. I think or maybe I'm getting him confused for somebody else.
Could be.
But people switch churches all the time.
I know my dad well.
It is just a social thing. Like, and then in a religion like Jehovah's Witness or Catholicism, which has excommunication, you're basically signing a social contract that says if you do not constantly keep up your social appearance, you're going to be excommunicated, exiled from your community.
It sounds
And
fucking exhausting.
It is
that's,
exhausting. It's meant to be It's meant
Yeah.
to mentally exhaust you and
Yep.
always place the blame right back on you.
to keep everybody in line with what the group is doing and thinking. Your sound is low. I think I have to talk directly into my mic.
Yeah, to talk directly into the microphone.
Just like that, please. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody, and today we're going to be doing ASMR.
We're going to be talking about getting wet, everybody. So
That's right.
My moisture's getting wet.
Drenched in the Holy Spirit. Okay, you got saved when you were 6, baptized when you were 7. You pretty much had to as a preacher's kid. Yeah, and that's another whole layer of just, I don't know, expectations placed on you as a child when your parent is either in some, in some kind of role where they have authority. You are supposed to behave and act accordingly. And if you don't, at least in the Jehovah's Witness organization, if you don't act accordingly, that authority can be taken away from your parent because it reflects poorly on their parenting.
Right.
Which is not fair. I mean, obviously, a parent is going to do their best to raise their child in the manner, as what they consider to be a good human being.
Right.
But, children are going to do what they do. And if you're doing your best, but a child makes one mistake, that one mistake can have implications on the parent. It shouldn't go either way. Like, nobody should be held responsible for somebody else's actions.
I definitely agree with that. And it comes up quite a bit. I remember a time when somebody in my family got in some legal trouble. Nothing that serious. It's just some like local court and like a fine. And there was another call that involved police a couple of months before that, and in the courtroom they're like, well, this family has been having legal problems, as if what was going on should have anything to do with their other family member that also had legal problems. It just stuck out to me in the courtroom in Arkansas. They're like, well, this person's family member also had problems in the past. Therefore, we should assume this person is bad.
What
And it's
the
going,
hell?
yeah,
Guilty by DNA?
yes, pretty much.
I was dunked at 16 years old. Other people getting their driver's license, going on dates and such, but I had my priorities set. Get baptized because the end was so yeah, honestly was just like, my friend was getting baptized. She said something to me like we should set an example because we were some of the older of the friend group. I was like, yeah, okay. I didn't really think too much about it. I was like, it'll make my parents proud,
It's a
Sounds
social status thing in
yeah,
a little tiny
like I would
J-Dub
maybe get some
corner of the
respect.
world.
I thought I actually was going to get some more respect from my parents. Like they would see that I was taking things more seriously. And, I'd asked them, like, because I wanted to play sports, like, if I get baptized, if I do ABC, like, if I, answer
Let
at
you.
every meeting, if I go out in field service, like, if I do all these things, can I then therefore, like, play some sports or something? Maybe we'll see. It was always like this, maybe we'll see. And then it was just always shut down.
They
It
didn't
was
ever
never
actually
enough.
let you play sports.
Yeah, it was never enough.
No, me either. And I wanted to play lots of sports. And because I was denied, I was given alternatives that I was like, boring, dumb, don't wanna. And then I just became a couch potato who watched cartoons all day and was like, well, you won't let me play sports, so I'm just gonna watch Batman.
Band was my alternative to sports that I was basically offered.
What was?
Band.
Oh,
Being band. Sorry, I forgot that I need to talk.
I went that route in high school because I didn't want to be in gym, because I didn't want to be in gym clothes in front of boys. So I was like, you mean I can take band and not take gym? Sold. I'll learn an instrument. And that's how I became that terrible clarinet player that we all saw earlier.
Oh, you didn't even start learning until you were in high school?
8th grade.
Okay. Yeah, we started in 6th. So
I knew nothing. I went into the world and everybody was like, we've been playing for 5 years. And I'm like, that's why I'm shit.
right.
So I played cards in bands and quietly.
Chronicles of Lucifer says what makes them so angry is to know that the elders were the ones who were pressuring her dad to convince her that she wasn't allowed to drive or get a job unless she was dunked.
Right.
Like parents probably wouldn't even really think to do something of that nature, but they're actively being told by the organization. And Toni Morris has even mentioned this. You shouldn't be allowed to get your driver's license. Like, oh, you want your driver, you can be responsible enough to drive, but not enough to get baptized. Hogwash.
Two totally different things if you really think about it.
Oh no.
Driving a car and learning how to drive a car, would you say that it's more important and more complicated than dedicating your life to Jehovah? No.
Yes,
then they're not the same thing.
Right,
and
like
you can't compare them and say that, well, if you're old enough to have a period, then you're old enough to be a mother. That's not the same thing.
That's a great analogy.
Yep.
Simply because you have your period, your body's function is in that mode does not mean that up here you are prepared, ready to take on that responsibility, or that your body can even take on that responsibility, right? Like physically, the stress that comes with having a baby. Oh my gosh, like the changes your body goes through could wreck a child.
Right.
Sorry, Tyler just says menstrual cycle.
Absolutely. Let me know if you want to join next week or one of these weeks. Same time, same place. I thought getting baptized and being a regular pioneer was enough to be saved, but it was never enough for the organization. They always move the goalposts, don't they? It's never quite right. Once you get there, it's like, well, yes, you could be doing this better.
Well, I mean,
you're never good enough. You're never going to be perfect. Perfect is a
never.
goalpost that's constantly being moved for you.
Yep.
Perfection is unattainable. Like unattainium is
if you-
unattainium unattainable. Sorry.
If we ever
Sorry.
achieve something, then you're just gonna stop working. Like
Right.
if you were perfect Jehovah's Witness, you're gonna stop doing your pioneering and all that because you're not gonna keep doing more and more for them.
Oh God, no. Could you imagine that
Keep
as soon as
giving
a
more
boy is
labor.
what?
I said, keep giving them more labor.
Teenagers? Oh,
No,
sorry.
the Jehovah's Witness organization. Okay.
Tyler said he was going to watch the X-Files tonight, but unfortunately the electricity's out. I don't know. I don't believe it. I'm just saying.
I don't
By
believe
the
that
way,
either.
he's not here because he's been disfellowshipped. So I'm just.
Yeah.
I think he's being dishonest. I do not think this is a genuine statement, Mr. Rickshaw.
You got this fellowship
You
from Dr.
are
Time Waster's
late.
cult.
It's fine. I don't ever actually expect him. By the way, I went to a thing earlier tonight, which is a social thing that's not something I usually am good at, and I made an X-Files joke, and people laughed. People laughed.
They knew it.
Yes. So
Wow.
that's screw you.
Really? People knew about the X-Files?
Tuz, you did it. Everything is free work for the org. Just by being born into the organization means that your body is going to be turned into dollars because that is what happens in a freaking capitalist society.
At
Your
the very
children are
least, you're
just
going to be an advertiser for the organization.
yeah, you are just some kind of marketing way for the organization to spread their seed. It's disgusting.
So we brought up age and consent earlier. Yay. And the peasants rejoiced. But we had brought up age and consent. And I think there's Jehovah's Witnesses have a very hard stance on, and they make themselves seem very righteous in this, in that they don't baptize infants. That baptism is a personal choice, you know, because you have to make this devotion to God, and there's like kind of consent in there, except that they don't really have any guidelines other than a bunch of men going, "Can you answer these questions and convince us that you should get the go ahead?" And who knows what criteria is behind that. But like, if children can get baptized, if a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, like there's not maybe as common in Jehovah's Witnesses, but has happened and does happen. That's not an age we would consider has even remotely reached the age of consent. And in most of our society, we don't let them get married. We don't let them make healthcare decisions. We don't let them make very complicated financial decisions for themselves because they can't do that and they can't comprehend the bigger world. I mean, maybe to some degree they could if we taught them better. That's debatable. But informed consent is something that's challenging even with adults. So, there's this age of consent that comes up. And I know other religions might baptize people earlier, and I don't really know which ones that is, other than like Catholicism is the only one I know of for sure. But if anybody knows, are there any other religions where they baptize babies or infants, children?
I don't know. I think a bulk of them do it at around like that early age.
Do they?
A lot of them do
I
the
believe
teenage
so.
stuff.
And I don't like, here's the thing. I don't even know that being baptized would be so bad if it were not for the outcome that people
being
put upon it
shunned
if you misstep.
Right.
Because elsewise it would just be like, hey, I'm in this religion, like that's it. I did something for like if it was truly for myself, F everybody else's opinion. But because there's all these principles or whatever guidelines and dogmatic like beliefs put upon it on how you have to behave, and you can lose your life, like everything that you know, that's the control part of it, where it's like that's what F's up something that could be beautiful for a person. Like it could be something that's cool, but you've turned it into like something that will be punished for doing. Like you're actually going to get punished for showing your affection or affinity for God.
Yeah, well, double jeopardy for being in religion. I don't know. Damned if you do.
And then damned if you do.
I'm just gonna see if I can share this random thing.
Oh my God! If you did that, I think that's absolutely hilarious.
That's bold, and no
I'm
one
going to
ever
read
thought
that.
about that. But that's a
that.
good idea.
Did any of you ever get so mad at an elder that you found out his address and sent him a complimentary copy of an adult magazine so he could explain that to his other elders? Asking for a friend.
That's a good idea.
I would say that's a good idea, but then okay, so I know somebody who also did like back in the early 2000s, late 90s, good computer, young person, might be my partner currently, who helped clean up and fix some viruses on fellow elders' computers, who also found quite a deal of porn on said computers. And it's kind of apparently a thing that's well known amongst the men in this Jehovah's Witness congregation, that this particular elder enjoys quite a bit of porn, and nobody cares, and that's not a problem. So double standards, lovely, love it. I gotta love the double standard personally.
Right.
It's pretty sick. Like
Good for me, not for thee.
Yeah, yes. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah,
Right.
the dichotomy of that is so weird because, like, porneia, for the most part, I mean, I know that there's bad things that happen in the industry, but it's like a me thing. I'm like, I'm not bothering anybody else. Like, leave me alone. But like things that actually could harm somebody, like child abuse or whatever, not a big deal.
Mhm.
Overlooked. Yeah, double standards.
That one got me.
That's good.
Doubly
I like
good.
that.
Doubly
Double
delicious.
your pleasure, double your fun, right?
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to steal that from Archradish to somebody in my life.
100% they have a corn history. Absolutely. They've gone down that avenue, that hole.
Who doesn't look at porn? I mean, think of how many people feel guilty so often because they do something out of just curiosity and they think God hates them when it's just so natural, like everybody's doing it. I mean,
And I don't care if people like porn. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't think there's even anything wrong with people embracing their own sexuality and learning about what they like and what they don't like. That's called normal discovery of yourself. But it's so demonized in that organization. And then to find out the people who are the leaders of the organization are like, oh yeah, we know this is total bullshit to say this to you all, and so we don't do it. But we tell you to do it.
right.
And that's what fucking pisses me off. That is what gets me to no other, is you don't even live by the same principles that you tell other people to live by. The dude does not abide. Like, seriously. That's all I can say to that. That's just frustrating. By the way, I'm also sharing a meme.
God is a peeping Tom. Oh, want me to share that? Oh yeah. Have you ever seen any of these baptisms where they continue to dunk the child over and over?
Those are so terrible. Those are so painful to watch. Where they're just like dunking the baby.
Yeah, it's really.
How many times
y'all.
does it need to? How many times does it take? Like, what's the technique of baptism that makes it stick better? Is there a certain age where it needs to? Like, if you're too old to get baptized, is there a threshold? Is there a rule to this?
This is intentionally to harm the child. There's not, like, I don't want anybody to try to see like something good in this. This is to harm the child.
or the parents. It's more like because the child's never gonna remember
Oh.
this. This
Oh.
is to torture the parents watching this.
Oh no, but this does put like they won't remember it, but this will mess them up. Yeah, this is going to trigger something.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny. I just want to share the
Yeah.
best movies. But
Yeah.
anyway.
No, I know. There's such a freaking people get. I don't understand it. They get themselves all worked up about corn. It's weird. If it's made safely, and everybody's consenting to making the corn, then I don't understand the issue with the corn.
Which that is kind of the problem as far as like making it safely right now.
Right, that's the issue, is those who aren't getting paid or
Right.
they're getting put into bad contracts or taken advantage of. That's the
Yep.
harm in the corn. But
Yep.
there's no harm
Involving
in the corn when you're
capitalism
looking
in
at
the corn makes the corn bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you could
Corn
argue the
delicious.
children of the corn are also pretty bad, but
Children of the corn?
Children of the Corn. I don't know if I ever watched that movie. Did you watch it?
no, I
don't think I was allowed
remember.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I haven't seen
think
it,
that was
but
one
I
of
will
those-
tell you, in Kansas, whenever I think of Children of the Corn, I think of this billboard in Kansas. There's a billboard of a
Popcorn.
cornfield with Jesus's face, where it's just Jesus standing in a cornfield, hand painted. It's
Meow.
it's pretty good. Or no, it's wheat. It's a wheat field, not corn. Sorry, I got confused. Wheat Jesus. If you search for wheat Jesus,
Sweet Jesus.
There's a difference. Wheat Jesus is not the same as corn Jesus.
Yeah.
Get it?
No, completely
wheat Jesus
different.
billboard, you'll see the
Two
billboard I'm talking
different
about.
spells.
I'm good. I've seen enough Jesus billboards. They make my blood boil.
Well, this is just a picture of Jesus standing in a wheat field, and it's very creepy. It makes me think of Children of the Corn.
Yeah. No.
And there's a lot of religious icons or religious pictures that are pretty darn creepy. You're the only one who can make us repent, Tyler. What can I say?
Yeah.
God apparently is against you right now in the weather in your area. So.
Maybe next week we could just all repent our sins to Tyler. He can be the
confess
Yeah.
him.
Oh, that could be a
confession
long
to
episode.
Father Tyler.
He'll
Oh,
have to
God.
define what the sin is, right? Like he'll have to say what's sinful.
Yeah, he'll tell us what's sinful, and then we can confess our
good.
sins.
I think you also have to say how long it's been since you've sinned.
Ooh.
It's been
right.
2
It's been
hours,
5 minutes
3
to
minutes
sin.
since I've sinned.
Well, is it the sin or the confession?
It's been 60 seconds since I sinned, Father. I masturbated right before I came in here.
Shake my hand. Don't worry, I did a Dutch rudder.
A Dutch rudder.
My hand's clean though. But according to Pastor Tyler Rickshaw, that's not a sin. The Dutch rudder. That was a suggestion as I took it. I took it as a suggestion.
Right. Well, that's why I'm going to text my friends here shortly when this is over. Tell them I found out what we're doing next weekend.
So, if baptism is a sort of pledge of your life and your soul to something,
pledge.
Which seems to be kind of the most important thing you would ever do, since even marriage isn't a pledge to your soul. Sort of like, I think we can agree that you should have informed consent and you should be able to be of an age where you understand the full implications of the spectrum of doing it. Even Jesus didn't get baptized until he was 30 something? I don't know, 30?
30, I think. Yeah, 30. Because then he preached for 3 years. 33 died. Yeah.
One of the things I have against God is I did not get informed. He didn't get my informed consent to create me. I was not informed. I did not consent at all to this existence.
That's a good point. You didn't have any say in whether or not you arrived on this planet.
And it's a
then
lot more
you're here.
violating than other things that people do think that we should have informed consent for.
Hey, what if you're wrong? What if as the egg, you actually do make a conscious decision on whether or not you want to be planted?
Oh, you're saying maybe I did consent?
Maybe you did consent, but you don't remember.
Or
Yeah,
is it just your grip?
it wasn't informed consent. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe I just forgot.
You got good grip. You clung to them walls, baby. Clinging to them walls. Bang that wall at.
We were obviously all good grippers.
Like-
Is all I'm saying. That's just what I'm saying.
He was spideying up that wall.
What are we gripping? Are you talking? Wait.
The placenta.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the egg's got to grip onto the.
It's got to hang on to something, right?
Yeah.
It's got to attach to the
Yeah,
wall.
somewhere. Hopefully not in the
Uterus.
tube, not in the flow.
I guess it's technically the uterus, but anyways, I digress.
But what if that's where you made the decision to get baptized? Just kidding.
But if we don't remember the decision, that's another thing. Like if
can't
you
consent
don't
to the
know the
decision?
past things that have happened, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna go on a tangent here. There's like a couple, probably a couple episodes of this, but like there's a particular Rick and Morty episode where like what's his name, Jerry, he like comes to this great epiphany, but it's really fucking with his brain and he can't handle it. And so Rick just wipes out his memory.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
becomes
He
the
does
same
that from time
idiot
to
he always
time.
is. And it's like, do you really have free will if somebody wipes out your memory or takes that away from you? So if what you're saying is that we at some point have the cognition to grasp what we're doing, to become a living organism, to bring ourselves into this world, to make these decisions that we somehow have the control, but we don't remember doing it, then how can we really even say that that we have the free will to make
Right.
decisions? We can't grow as people, as entities, if we can never remember the past and things that we've forgotten or failures.
Writing
Are we talking about free will now?
We are now, because I brought it up via Rick and Morty
but it
somehow.
kind of does go into that. You can maneuver into that conversation.
Robert Sapolsky just came out with an hour-long video on Big Think YouTube channel about how we don't have any free will at all, and that's on my list of things to watch. And if you're sitting here watching us, I would suggest putting that on your list of things to watch.
What am I watching?
Robert Sapolsky on the YouTube channel Big Think. He had a video come out like 7 days ago, maybe, if that. He's been working. He used to be an MIT professor, and he's been working on the topic of free will for a long time. And the title of the video, when I looked at it, was "You do not have any free will at all." So I'm gonna be watching that soon to find out what he has to say.
Yeah, I used to think that we had free will, and now I'm like, oh God, no, there's no such thing. There's free will.
Right. Well, definitely, if we had any free will, it would just be on a spectrum, some small amount.
Yeah.
Because I might have free will to make a decision, if you can argue that, but I didn't have the free will to become the type of person that would make that decision.
It seems to me that most things seem to be a spectrum.
I agree.
Versus a black and white on off one or the other option. It seems to be that when you have two options, what you really have is probably a spectrum.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. I feel like that's part of the issue too with the Bible, is it was written in such a on off, but in actuality, I think that's just how people perceive it. It never meant that the in between doesn't exist.
If titties are a spectrum, so is everything else. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Right. Just like light is a spectrum. I mean, it's natural for spectrums to exist. So why are we so set on these?
That's right. I have the blue. Wow, this is really getting blue too. I think
Why is it getting bluer?
because the
More and
sun
more
is
Avatar.
setting, and I had natural
Oh,
light in here, and now I have only this light. Hold on.
and your hair is like glowing.
It is
Right.
glowy a little bit.
It's glowing. It looks pretty. I love it. Oh my god, it really is.
Sorry. Hold on. I'll fix this.
Smurfette. She's Smurfette.
What is she fixing?
I don't know if she's going to do something with her light. I think she's given that full baptismal effect. I probably should have turned mine to blue as well, but I like this
Mine's always
setting.
white because I have the holiest lighting.
Oh, is that what that is?
Mm-hmm.
The Holy Spirit is just coming down directly up like a laser beam. It seems focused on you.
Right. He's right
No,
here on
no.
my left shoulder.
Right. Okay. Where an angel would be sat, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
The word of God.
Yeah. I think an angel would be on my left shoulder and the devil would be on my right. I think.
Yeah, I actually think. Yeah, I would probably assume that the good would be. No. Yeah, I would assume the good.
For me, the good would be the harder one to look
Better.
at. Like the easier one that I'm gonna like naturally look at on my right, I would think that would be the devil.
That's interesting. I feel like the good would be on my. I don't know, actually, because I feel like my brain tells me you'd want to talk to this side because I favor my left more than I do. Anyway, what the fuck are we talking about? Sorry, y'all.
No idea.
Wait,
I don't know.
on next week's episode, we're going to discuss which side should the devil be on your shoulder.
Beelzebub. Beelzebub.
I don't think I've ever associated in particular side of my body with good or bad.
Would be right here between the titties.
I mean,
Doing Dutch
bad
rudder.
idea, good idea. I don't know.
Y'all might have titties, but you can't do a Dutch rudder.
Darn.
Yep, missing out some kind of way.
Just keep my rubber chicken right here. Where he'll talk to me right in the middle, so that I hear good and bad. I'll hear rubber chicken.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is people don't understand how much not only has the Bible evolved, but that Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever the frick has evolved.
Rubber chicken,
Rubber chicken has evolved.
Of the rubber chicken. Just saying.
Everything has evolved. Nothing has stayed the same. It's a spectrum. Everything grows with society. Never too small.
Ideas keep growing.
Perfect.
People do too.
There's no such thing as too small.
Setter.
It's just no
such thing as too small?
No.
Good.
No
such thing.
Very good to know. Very good to know.
I know. Yeah, when did this turn into corn, you guys? I should have
I have a feeling that pretty much every one of our episodes ultimately comes to porn or not.
Every one of our episodes ultimately comes.
It was unintentional, but good.
Isn't that a phenomenon or something? Is that called something?
A pornomenon? What? A pornomenon?
Something like a pornomenon.
I do love me a good pornomenon.
I would like a good pornomenon.
I imagine I would too.
Pornonapalooza.
Yeah, how great this is without Tyler Rickshaw. I don't know.
I just want to keep going just
sorry
because
you're not
he's
here.
not here.
Oh.
We love you, Tyler. We love you very much.
I'm sorry your power is out.
Pornhub is very bad. That's a place you do not want to watch porn. Pornhub is bad.
We need to have an episode where we offer alternatives.
Yeah, we've got alternatives.
I mean, I can tell you why I don't like going there, but who really wants to know? Do you guys really want to know? I don't think you really want to know.
Going where?
Pornhub.
Oh,
Seems like Walmart to me. Like I don't like going there, but sometimes I still do.
I just don't know who's there willingly. Like,
yeah, that's
no.
why I'm saying they're not good.
It's
They're
like,
bad.
I
They're
look at
actually
this
very
stuff and
bad.
I'm like, I don't know that they're not 13. I don't know
Yeah,
that this
I
isn't
wouldn't.
somebody voluntarily here. And come on, amateur stuff is the way to go because people want it. They're doing it for real. It's good.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
saying. Amateur is the way to go with adults in their 30s or more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. People who look like they're their age. Exactly. Cornhub, they've been involved in a lot of scandals with people being underage and just having inappropriate things that were of abuse, like several instances of abuse that was recorded, being uploaded and like staying on there. Lots of bad stuff. Not a
lots of
yeah.
like trafficked people.
Yeah, exactly. Trafficked people, so many scandals. If you just Google a
Make
scandal,
friends on the internet, that's all I'm going to say.
yeah.
And also, there's
Cream for the
not
corn, yumma yum.
not much real sex on there. It's very
Contrived. It's not
like
good.
Too bad.
acted. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
there
you
is
guys,
some
we are at
Baptism.
an
Pornhub.
hour and
Same
30
thing.
minutes. Yeah. We go from getting wet to getting wet.
all full circle on
Great
this.
tie-in. Well, it's been a while. We've talked about this a lot. I'm surprised. So I appreciate this. This is a good topic. By the way, if you guys all go to the YouTube thumbnail, and if you haven't already hit like on the channel or subscribe to the channel, you really should. Shame on you. Shame on you. But yeah, if you look at the YouTube thumbnail, that's me.
You should feel guilty.
Anyway, we all do dumb things.
Thanks everybody for coming.
Stream our next baptism on Pornhub. I'll be baptizing our members here.
No, not there. Thanks everybody for joining. I had a good night. Thank you, Dr. Time Waster, for always being such a lovely host.
You're
And
welcome.
Alpha Sub as a lovely guest.
Thank you, Apostate Coalition, for hosting this wild and wacky and very unscripted and just unobtainable show. We're unobtainium.
Unobtainium, yes,
we
my
are.
favorite element.
Well, you guys have a good night. We'll see you next week. Okay, make sure you're there. Same time, Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you.
See
Bye.
ya. Can't wait.
Ya.